Top story of the morning. So this is brand new video obtained here at Fox 31. This is at an apartment complex in Aurora showing men with long guns and pistols in their hands. This is at an apartment building, and a pretty concerning video that is now going viral on social media. Yeah. National news is picking this up, but we've been following this locally for weeks and we have questions.
City council members and people living in the area claim this is part of a gang takeover in several parts of the city. Those claims now getting national attention. So we wanted to go right to the mayor. Mayor Mike Kaufman joins us live via Zoom this morning to talk more about this situation. First of all, thank you for taking some time out. I know you're dealing with a lot. When you see this video, what do you think? Because I don't live in Aurora, but I think to myself, holy cow, if I lived in Aurora, I'd be freaking out right now.
Well, it's, let me put it in context first. This concern that it's 3 apartment complexes, but that's not to minimize it at all. But we're, the 51st largest city in America, over 400,000 in population. And so, but there are 3 apartment complexes that we believe in, that where there is a concentration of Venezuelan migrants, and the criminality is unfortunately followed. So we have a task force with local, state and our federal law enforcement partners working on it to root these criminals out and get them off the streets. But it certainly concerns me. But it is in 3 apartment complexes.
The amount of stuttering that's happening here is it's unacceptable. That's number one. And number two, this is just absolutely mind-boggling that this is happening in the United States of America right before our very eyes. And these people think that we just supposed to lay down as voters. And, I know that I'm maybe not supposed to be concerned because I don't necessarily live in Denver or Aurora or any of these places that was signing letters and writing love letters over to the Biden administration as far as the migrant crisis, because New York has got a multi-billion-dollar deficit. Chicago has a $982 million upcoming shortfall, and they've been in the red for a long time, and they got their whole stuff being ran by a school teacher. Y'all about to vote in Tim Walz, another school teacher. Got Kamala Harris fumbling on CNN. And so I'm not necessarily supposed to be concerned about Denver because this is the bed that they made, and so now they have to lay in it. But this is a small part of a larger problem that is growing in America because multiple different places are being taken over by Venezuelan gangs. And Trump was absolutely right. Trump was right. He said it. He said they letting out their jails, because when I did some research, and I was talking about this on the Millionaire Morning Show on a completely different clip, and I was like, yo, what is the name of this gang? Because they actually have a gang and everything like that. And I said, what's the name of this gang? And how is this playing out? They said, man, that is a jail gang. That is a gang that is proliferating and has already been popping off in Venezuela and stuff. And so when they broke into the gun shops and then they start to execute on this type of time, the people over there in Aurora and in Denver, they're not ready for it. Now, the Denver mayor is saying something completely different, so we're going to get to him on a whole nother clip. But the point that I'm making is that this is unheard of on American soil. And it first starts with our federal government and the Biden-Harris administration, in which she jumped on CNN and she didn't answer the question. She did not be accountable for what it is that they left the borders open. She flip-flopped on every other issue. And then all of y'all Democratic mayors and governors joined in on the fight and made y'all self-sanctuary cities instead of aligning on the border. They fought Trump tooth and nail his entire administration, but he largely was successful in making sure that he stemmed the migrant crisis. When they got into office, they had an inflation rate of 1.2%, and the country just completely went to shit over the last 3.5 years. And now y'all talking about y'all want to vote her back in based off of identity. Get the hell out of here, bro. This is insane.
Now, you and I talked about this issue of apartment complexes, migrant gangs. We talked about this at length last week. And I did ask you if you knew about armed people going around and intimidating people at these complexes. And you said you did know that this was happening to the apartment building owners, and to an extent that we knew it was happening to people who lived there. But my question is, when did you first see this video, and when did you know it was to the extent that we're seeing in this video?
Well, we've known, I think I put out a couple of weeks ago that we had formed the task force. We knew at that time that we had formed the law enforcement task force to root them out. That there was intimidation going on, and part of that intimidation certainly involves individuals with weapons.
Mr. Mayor, why Aurora? You know, I've got people from across the country sending me messages. What's going on in Aurora? Why are these gangs in Aurora? Do we know why they came here? Why they seem to be taking over some spots in our city?
I can tell you why, but let's see if he's going to tell
me. So
me.
I'm trying to trace it back right now. I can tell you, some things that are unconfirmed that I believe are true. I think we know that these gang elements are attracted to concentrations of Venezuelan migrants. That's unfortunately, there's a lot of criminality in Venezuela. It's basically a failed state. The role of the police department there is to protect the government. It's not to protect the people. And so, unfortunately, some of these criminal elements have come up with the migrants. It's my understanding that Venezuela does not share criminal histories with the United States, and so it's very different.
Well, we just let them in the borders.
Them at the border. Yes, they've been allowed to come in anyway. People can cross the border illegally, be arrested, and then receive humanitarian parole to apply. They've applied for political asylum until their cases can be adjudicated. It's a terrible combination where they come into the country. They don't have access to a work permit for 6 months. They don't have resources. I think what happened, and again, I'm trying to trace this back, is that what happened is we had, we have some buildings that unfortunately are pretty run down, have a high vacancy rate or relatively low rent. And I think somebody placed them there. Is it an agency of the federal?
Who is these random somebody's days that place these Venezuelan migrants? So wait a minute. They get a get out of jail free card. They come over here into the United States of America. They get a free ride. They get food, shelter, healthcare coverage. That migrant, that Venezuelan gang member, he was looking pretty healthy. He was looking pretty, you know what I'm saying? Dad bod, the whole 9 yards. He quarterbacking the thing. He on a cell phone. Hey, yo, we need to get this popping off, so on and so forth. Run up in there, take that, bust it down. They ain't paying their rent. They just completely took over. Police just let them rock out. Federal government, call in the National Guard. Call in the Army. We sending all of these resources over into these other countries, but we can't control what's happening on American soil? Get out of here.
Federal government perhaps using some of our local nonprofit partners here as a conduit, because the city of Aurora took a position early on that we were not going to participate in the migrant crisis. We were not going to provide taxpayer support, and we were not even going to be a conduit for federal dollars to come in to provide assistance. This is not our problem. This is a problem created by the federal government at the border with bad policy. And so it's the federal government that needs to solve this problem, not the city of Aurora. But somehow we've gotten this problem. We inherited this problem involuntarily. And so I'm trying to walk it back and say, I believe that these people just didn't go there on their own. I think somebody put them there, and I'm trying to find out right now. And I have a meeting with a leader who really understands these nonprofit organizations that provide assistance, who provided this assistance, who made this decision to put them there.
Nobody has any answers, and nobody wants to be accountable for what it is that we see happening in our American cities. And you are now witnessing, and I've been documenting this for well over 2 years now, you are now witnessing the fall of America. I love you. I appreciate you. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Teach Hanley, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think that his message is acceptable, or do you think that there's more accountability that needs to go before we vote somebody else in the office? I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.